This is episode number 153 of the Homeowner Show. Whether you're a DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett, and here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to Homeowner Show. We're glad that you could join us today. How's everybody doing out there? We are so glad that you could be with us in the Homeowner Show studios, live on the Facebooks.
Dude, it feels good to be back, man. So, I mean, I've just been gone for a while, and then last week with the crazy COVID stuff, you know, it's good to be back in the studio, man.
I'm glad that we poured a bucket of Clorox over you before you came into the studio.
No kidding. Yeah, thankfully, I never had any issues. It was just my wife. My kids hadn't had any issues or anything like that. So, thankfully, it's just been pretty easy so far. So hopefully we're done with this and no more.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's fair to say that just because you didn't have COVID doesn't mean that you don't have any issues.
Oh, well, cooties for sure.
I keep a journal. It's a fascinating journey.
Yeah. Well, it's quite thick too.
That's right.
The journal is big.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm a little chilly.
Chilly. Wow.
Yes.
Well, I saw something that you did today.
I did.
And I don't know. It's a little weird. It looked like you were in a shower, to be honest, is what it looked like. I was like, why are you putting a picture of you on the internet of you in a shower?
Well, it was kind of like a shower. I was disrobed in that photo.
Yeah.
So
well, that's weird.
Which it's boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, never a good idea to let people take pictures of you with your clothes off. All right? Just number one.
No.
But I did. So I did cryotherapy today.
Oh.
For the very first time.
Interesting.
Have you ever done this?
I've not ever heard of it. Not ever done it. All I've heard of like people that want to freeze themselves and come back to life later on in life.
Right. And I think that's like cryostasis.
Yeah.
This is cryotherapy.
Okay.
So basically, and the most they'll let you do it for is 3 minutes, but for 2 minutes, she took me down to negative 182.
What?
Yes.
That's like intense shrinkage is what that is.
Yeah.
I don't really even know what to say about that.
Yeah, so all I had on were my unmentionables, gloves, earmuffs, and socks.
Wow.
That's it.
So you do have some things on.
You
have to be
and it's
insulated a little bit.
It's for your extremities.
Yeah.
But, dude, it got so cold I couldn't breathe through my nose.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I could literally feel my nose getting stiff, and I had, booger sickles.
What?
Yes, it was nuts.
So, okay, let's ask the question that everyone wants to know.
Sure, go ahead.
Why did you do this?
So it's actually a clinic called StemLift.
Okay.
They're a new client of mine.
Okay.
And so as I was taking care of what they needed me to take care of, they said, "Hey, do you want to try the cryotherapy?" And I was like, "What's that?" So they took me back, and it's this.
They're like, first of all, you got to take off all your clothes. You're
right.
like, oh crap. What?
Yeah. So I mean, they give you like a robe and everything, but and they have other kinds of therapy, other kinds of cryotherapy and heat therapy, and hyperbaric therapy, and they even do IV vitamins injections.
Oh.
So it's like a full health rejuvenation kind of a thing.
Okay, so I got another question though. Why? What was the purpose of this?
Well, one, she was just asking me if I wanted to try it.
Okay, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and so most of the time, if you ask me that, the answer is going to be yes.
Sure.
But there's apparently a lot of health benefits, all of which I can't remember at this time.
Okay.
If I'd remembered to bring the literature in with me, I could have. But basically, with this place, you sign up, you get it's like a monthly fee, and then you can come in and do 2 cryotherapies a month, and along with some other things that you get with your membership. I'll link it up in the show notes. It's called StemLift. There's lots of other places that do this. This place was awesome, really, really nice. The equipment was high tech.
Yeah.
I got, to pick my music when I was in
3
there.
minutes. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe like Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell or something.
It was actually some Nirvana is what I was rocking in there.
Nice.
Yeah. But it is, if you're claustrophobic, I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
Because your breath gets so thick, it's palatable in the air.
Okay.
Like you can see it crystallize in front of you.
Oh my goodness.
So it gets dark for one because it's so foggy because of the condensation in the air. So you're almost like breathing snow out almost. It's crazy.
So how long are you cold afterward?
So you know how like when you're out in the snow and you're still cold when you come back in?
Yeah.
It's a different kind of cold than that. Like I still feel chill like in my bones.
Really?
But I'm not cold. I know that's a weird way to describe it, but like I can definitely feel what I did earlier, and this was 4 or 5 hours ago.
I'm going tomorrow.
Do it. Here's the thing.
It's so hot, man.
It's free.
What?
Yeah. They told me like, look, if you send anybody in, it's free. The first one's free. So just go try it.
Okay, I'm totally doing this because I mean, it's freaking hot here.
It is really stinking
hot. I'm sure there's other health benefits, but if I can cool off for a little bit, I'm all in, man.
Apparently, this is like they imported a bunch of this equipment to Tokyo this year for a bunch of the Olympic athletes.
Oh, so
they all use it.
Wait a minute. So, okay, they don't develop this technology. They're just
who's they? What do you mean?
Whoever. I mean, this company, the Stem Lift, they didn't develop the
No.
equipment.
Cryotherapy's been around for a long time.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, this all makes a little bit more sense now. But you did bring up the Olympics.
Yes.
Am I the only one who has watched some of the Olympics and gone, what the heck is that? Like, I didn't know that was a sport.
Yeah.
For example.
Once again, I'm going to disappoint everybody and say I don't watch sports.
That's I'm not surprised. But there's some stuff that I'm like, what? How did you get into this?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, one of them was like, dude, my son got into it, man. Like I was like, all right, sister, go off and take a shower. We're going to sit here and watch the Olympics, and then we'll switch.
Uh-huh.
And he did not want to leave because it was team handball.
Okay.
And so basically it's 5-on-5 in a small indoor, looks like a soccer arena, and they run around and throw a ball to each other, and you have to throw it into what looks like a soccer net. Where was that in high school? Like, I'm all over that.
Wasn't on the list.
It was not on the list. And there's some like indoor cycling. Like,
how is that a thing?
Like, they're on these bikes that are like, I mean, they're like maybe a half-inch wide. I don't even know how they ride these things, and it's on this indoor track that's like, you know how like Indy cars are like sloped on the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
That's weird.
I don't know. It is weird, but anyway, it is what it is, man.
Anything you tell me about the Olympics, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we got a cool show for you guys today. We've been excited about bringing you guys this particular topic because we have a cool guest from a really cool company.
Yeah.
Who we got today, Kev?
Yeah, so we got Marc Holway on the show today, and he is with a company called Jellyfish. And so, Marc, glad you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here.
Well, so we have kind of teased Jellyfish a little bit in an episode a few weeks ago, where we're talking about some of the coolest, most innovative products that have come out since the beginning of the year. And I know that Jellyfish has been around for longer than that.
It was new to us.
It was new to us, and so that's one of the reasons we went ahead and put it out there. But anyway, so tell us, first of all, a little bit about you so that we kind of get to know you a little bit, and then maybe give us some information about how you got connected with Jellyfish and what Jellyfish is.
So I'm actually from Southern Maine. I am a master electrician. I've been a contractor for 20 years of my life.
Wow.
I've done everything from build fiber head ends, at UNH and some other colleges, all the way to rewiring and renovating antique homes.
Wow, that's awesome. So you've been an electrician for a long time at this point.
Yeah, I started my training for electrical in 2001.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, you've been doing that for a long time. So how did you get connected with Jellyfish? And then go ahead and kind of jump right into what is Jellyfish?
So Bryce Groves, the gentleman that patented the lights and came up with the idea, when he was developing the system, he kept having electrical questions.
Okay.
So he'd give me a call up and say, Mark, hey, why can't I go more footage than this? Why is this shorting out? And after a while, I came out from Maine to Utah where he was, and we started the lights. The old system that we had was 12 volts, and we bumped it up to 48 volts, which solved our length problems. And then I just started selling it with him. And there was a point where I went back to Maine for a little bit while they were re-engineering the light. And once they had re-engineered our new controller that we build right in Utah, which is a full Linux-based computer, all put together, it was go time. So I moved back out from Maine to Utah, and I actually think I'm employee one, considering our lead installer was a subcontractor at the start. So I think I am employee one if we looked at it. But I worked with Jellyfish in Salt Lake. I worked at Jellyfish in Denver. Now I'm down here in the Dallas office. And we're just having a lot of fun with it. The system does 16 million different colors. Every single light, which are 9 inches apart, is completely addressable. You can build your own custom soffit light looks. You can build your own zones, and you can control all those zones individually.
Wow, that's really, really impressive. So when Craig's actually the one that kind of came across this to begin with, and when we looked at it, it's like, dude, we're talking about like permanent Christmas lights is what it really kind of looks like to begin with. But there's so much more. Whenever you kind of look into what Jellyfish actually does, there's actually so much more to it. But where did the idea kind of originate from?
Well, this is Bryce's brainchild. He was a contractor himself. He was an independent builder, and he was looking for something to get him off the roofs and get him from swinging a hammer. And this was something that he came up with in his own time. And just Bryce is one of those guys that once he gets an idea, if he thinks it's a good one, he pours everything into it and chases it to the end. And this is, I think the first time he called me about the lights was 2012.
Okay.
So this has been almost a full decade of Bryce pushing for what he believes will work, and it's here. We're in 14 locations across the country now with our dealers, our stores in Utah, Denver, Dallas, and now Houston, and we're pushing national.
So how long ago did you guys open the Houston branch? Because that's where Kevin and I are.
Months ago.
Just months ago?
Bryce is actually down there right now. We've been open in Houston, I believe, 3 months now. We've been doing installs down there and selling. We're gearing up right now. We've got a couple new vans coming for both the Dallas and Houston office, so we're actually hiring right now for salespeople and installers. Looking to get everyone ready for the fall push.
Is the fall push? You're saying fall push because that's when people want to get their Christmas lights up, right? Is that?
Yeah, a lot of people do look at us as just Christmas lights, but we literally can do anything you want. We can be your security lights, your safety lights, your just party lights, barbecues, 4th of July, Valentine's Day, whatever you can think of. Especially here in Texas, I got a lot of people that keep asking me, it's like, hey, my kids' school colors are these. Can you do them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal down here.
Well, you just to ask me, you'd be like, well, is it one of the 16 million colors out there? And if so, I think we can probably accommodate you.
I honestly, people say the 60 million colors, their eyes kind of roll back. What?
Yeah,
that's
Because they can't name more than 20 colors.
Yeah, well, most people don't realize that colors actually have a number, like a letter and number sequence, and you can find letters, and you can go into, like, if you've ever worked with like Photoshop, for example, you want a very specific color, you just type in a number and a letter combination, and you can find a very, very specific color, which is, I assume, exactly what y'all do in order to get the colors that you have.
We can do that, but most of the time people just use the color palette.
Sure.
That, and we can. I want to circle back around to that, but you said something a minute ago. I want to touch on, because you said security lights. Is there a motion sensor feature that you guys have with Jellyfish, or how does that work?
Not currently at this time, but since we build our own controller and we write all the software, we built our own app. What we do is I'd say once to twice a year, we put out a firmware update with the latest and greatest, because that's the big thing about our product is you're not a stack product that's never going to evolve. Our system evolves. Every time we come out with something new, we send it out to all of our customers. They have the ability to download it and integrate it into their system without upgrading hardware. And one of the things on our wish list for the engineers to get up and running is to tie into motion detectors. We don't have a timeline on it now. I know that the engineers are working on it. They don't like telling us sales guys what's next to the pipeline. But then we start selling it before they have it available.
Right. Yeah, so I would assume, though, that even though you don't have motion detection, you probably do have some automation as far as time, so you can make them come on at a certain time, go off at a certain time.
You can set multiple timers a day.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can set timers for the different zones.
Okay. So how many do you when you buy a system? I mean, I assume that it's expandable. So if you wanna buy, maybe the front of your house, later you could expand it to the back of the house, is what I'm assuming. So how many zones do you get? Is that something that comes with a basic package and you have to upgrade in order to get more zones, or is that something that you can kind of customize because you own the system?
If you wanted to set up every single light as its own zone, you could.
Okay, and that's just a basic package. You do what you want to, which is kind of cool.
There is no basic. There is no premium. It is just
it is what it
system.
is.
Dude, that's really awesome, because that means, dude, that means that if I wanted to light up every sixth light or something, I could do that and have more light around my house or less light around my house, those sorts of things. That's really, really cool.
Oh, it's better than that. It's not every sixth. Say you just want the two lights in each corner of the peaks.
Okay.
And just the two in the center of the peak. Or say you have columns on your patio, and you just want the lights over those columns on, and you can leave the rest off.
Wow.
You can customize each individual light what you want it to come on with. That way, your house has its own special lighting setup.
Wow.
Without paying an electrician, without having to do rewiring and putting individual cans in, our system takes care of it for you.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
So Mark, I was actually just checking out the app. I've got the iPad version on my device, and
do you have the designer app open?
Yes.
Okay, that's the latest app.
I think I have the latest one. Let me check it here. It says Jellyfish P2.
That is actually the last app. The new app is Jellyfish Designer.
Jellyfish Designer. All right, let me see if I can find that while I'm asking my question, because what I'm curious is does the controller have to have a Wi-Fi to connect to? Does it have its own Wi-Fi, or how does this thing connect? I mean, I guess it could do Z-Wave.
It does have its own simple Wi-Fi.
Okay.
It does have its own simple Wi-Fi that you can connect to, but for but to be able to upgrade it, you have to have it connected to the internet. So typically what we do is we can tie it into your Wi-Fi, or we can hardline if it's available and go right into your network. We do that. Most new construction, we run a Cat 6 as part of the pre-wire to your network hub. That way we can plug right into the network.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes it a whole lot easier. You don't have to have Wi-Fi in order to make some upgrades at that point. But man, I love the customization. I also love the fact that if you want to change it for different times of the year, different colors. You know, Friday night football is huge here in Texas. So if you want to put out your favorite high school team or something like that, then on Saturday change it to your team for Saturday NCAA. Then on Sunday you want to change it to your NFL colors. Like, man, that's really, really quite amazing. So let me ask you this next question that I've got in my head. You mentioned can lights and other things like that. So when I was looking at the system online, the main thing that I was looking was the strip lighting, the small, almost tape like. So are there different install types, or what are we talking whenever it comes to my options?
So with us, it's the one light that we build, the Jellyfish light. It goes in an aluminum track that we match to the color of your home. The lights are spaced every 9 inches. Each light is about the size of a quarter, and they're as bright as a 30-watt light bulb. But they only use 1 watt of power on bright white and only about half a watt on reds and greens.
Okay. Yeah, so that's actually amazing. So you can make them brighter or dimmer if you want. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, the whole system's dimmable right from your phone. And then we can also do frequency. So if you want the clear white, the bluish tint white, or a warmer white down the yellow incandescent range look,
yeah,
we can accommodate you.
Yeah, so one of the things go ahead. Sorry.
We have such a variety of age groups that buy the lights that we find our older clients that are maybe 65 and up, they grew up with that incandescent yellow look, and that's what white light is to them, and that's what they want us to see. And then in between is a mix between that bluish LED look, like the 5000K, and that 4000 clear white that most people now like.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about that is, depending on what you're doing, if you've got guests over and it's in the backyard or something, maybe you got lights around the pool, it may be that you want more light for that activity, and maybe other times of the year you want softer lights. That's really, really cool. I really, really like that quite a bit.
Yeah, and as I was doing some research on you guys, my mind was sort of opened up, because as you know, the initial introduction to Jellyfish is like, yeah, we're going to do the eaves of the house, and so it's going, like what you said, it's going to look like Christmas lights, but that's not the only place you guys can install. I mean, you guys can essentially install these just about anywhere, not just on the house, right?
I think the best looking job I've ever done was a gazebo up in Butte, Montana. It was gorgeous when we finished.
Wow. Yeah, so I think that's one of the cool things is, so you're telling me that I could even have a zone on the gazebo and then a completely different zone on the house, all that kind of stuff. They don't actually have to be physically connected. I think that's one of the things that kind of gets me on some of this, is trying to figure out how do you get from one place to the other, but they kind of run wirelessly, I guess.
Well, when we have to do another structure, we add another controller.
Sure.
But then you can, through the app, you can control them all.
Yeah, it feels like it's just one system, right?
And we have done some new construction where they just put conduits in for us, and we run our wires through it, and the entire house is tied off of one controller.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Is the controller limited in any way as to like the number of lights or the length of lights that you can have on one controller?
The controller does have a limit as how many lights it can control individually. And then per power supply in the controller, we can do 300 feet. So when we hit the 300-foot mark, we add another power supply. And then once we get enough power supplies out, we do have to add more controllers. But then the whole system still ties in through the app, and you can still control the whole system through the phone.
Yeah. So I mean, and like in people listening, I mean, like 300 feet, that's a lot of lights.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100 yards. That's 100 yards worth of lights. That's a lot, for sure. Yeah.
Usually our average job, especially down here in Dallas, it's about 150 feet across the front of somebody's home. About 70% of our customers do just the front. 20% will do the front and the two sides, especially if they're on a corner or the house is raised up and all visible from the street. Only 10% really do the whole house. That's when we usually look at having to add a power supply. The back usually puts us a little bit over that 300-foot line on most homes. But then we've done other projects like we did up in Utah. We did Pleasant Grove Fire Department, their town hall, their library, their rec center. And those jobs were just monstrous. Each one was pushing like 2,000 feet.
Oh, my gosh.
Jeez. So when it comes to actual power consumption, let's talk about that for a minute because, I know that, LEDs have come in so much better than other types of lighting and that kind of thing. But, man, I remember back in the day whenever we used to put up Christmas lights on my house growing up, it was just regular incandescent bulbs. And it was like too many people on the street, you got a Clark Griswold type of problem going on, right? So, like, what kind of power consumption are we talking about?
$150 more. For us, the average home in Dallas at about 150 feet, if you're running them 4 hours a night, and I mean all of them, 4 hours a night. Most people only use it, light up a few with the accent light look. But if you ran every single light on your house for 4 hours every night, you're less than $40 a year.
Jeez.
In power usage.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, I think some people were using that per night with their Christmas lights. Well, and not only that, like, but I mean, one of the things that's so hard is like if you don't have a good controller, I mean, you could easily forget to turn those things off at the end of the night, and then they're on all night and part of the day until you wake up and realize that they're on because you're backing out of your driveway, So, I mean, having the customization is really, really good. I love that. So, 9 inches, that's a little bit further apart than what a typical Christmas strand is. Am I right about that, or am I wrong about that?
Most Christmas strands are usually a foot.
Oh, they're usually a foot, so it's actually
the old
less.
incandescent ones are a foot apart. Some of the C9 bulbs, when they came out, they were at 6 inches because they weren't using as much power. But when you look at the old incandescent systems, when each bulb's pulling 25 watts, you're 100 feet of that. If you were closer than a foot, you'd be above the 80% usage on a 15 amp line. You'd be maxing out one 15 amp 14 gauge line all by that one strand.
Yeah. So would I assume that y'all are coming in to the actual box of the home and just installing a new circuit? Is that the way that works?
Oh no, not at all. We just take one outlet in your garage. We plug in standard 110 outlet. And then everything's low voltage wiring from there out to our first light. So there's no additional power that we have to install unless we're talking a very large home.
Okay,
a standard house is using less than 3 amps when it's on.
Wow.
And Matt, Mark, earlier you were mentioning that initially you guys had it set up on a 9-volt system. Is that correct?
12 volt. Our very first one was a 12
volt. Yeah.
And 12 volt DC can go 70 feet. That's it.
Okay. And that was
70 feet. Go ahead.
I was just saying that was the limitation on that, and you really wanted it to be a bigger system.
Well, yeah. The second you hit 70 feet, white light starts turning yellow. The system needs boosters, and the boosters are what cost extra money, cost time on the install, and if you have to get additional power out to different soffit locations, it becomes cost prohibitive. With our system, it's a 48-volt system. At every light, there's a power step over that bleeds from the 48-volt system to the control wire. So every time the power leaves that light, it is back to a perfect 12 volts DC. And that's how we make the 300 feet.
Okay. So, in one of the other things that I read up about you guys is that, you know, it's not like you guys are the only LED game out there, right? But one of the things that you guys that do that's unique is you were really trying to solve the brightness issue with LEDs, because, you know, just if you just had one LED bulb in that group, it has certain limitations, I assume, on the lumens that it can produce. But you guys decided to pair up 3 LEDs in every, I don't know what you call it.
So it'd be 3 nodes in every diode.
Oh, every diode. Okay. Yeah. And are you guys?
And yeah, so,
were you guys the first ones to really do it like that, or?
Honestly, we're the first ones to really do what we do, because every other company out there that does something similar to us, they buy a product from a third party.
Right.
We actually sat down, our guys at Big Fish Automation, David Steed, Hugh Nelson, and their team, they engineered our light from the ground up. We built it.
That's awesome.
So we don't buy any products from anyone else. We build our light, we build our controller, and then we don't really do franchises either. Our authorized dealers are more partners than buy-ins. That way we can keep the customer first and keep the quality at the level we need it to be to continue to grow.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask if your expansions were franchises or not, because like exactly what you're saying, it's easier for you guys to keep a hand on quality control and customer care. And it's not to say that franchising's bad. It's just it's a vehicle that allows you to move quickly, unless you have, you know, certain business principles and philosophies that you want to keep a hold of. And it sounds like that's what you guys are trying to do is you know, keep the quality very, very high.
Well, our most important thing is to exceed the customer's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
We want the customer to be first, and the only way we can do that is to keep a certain level of customer support, customer response. And the way we do that, our authorized dealers, when they buy in, part of their buy-in is materials for their first jobs, and the other part's held in reserve, so that, say someone decides to stop doing the product or they're not doing quality work, we have money built into the system to go out and service those customers and make sure that Jellyfish Lighting is always putting them first. And that way they don't feel left behind, even if, God forbid, something happened where we lost it or they bring to the level that we expect.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was reading about on your website is it's not just the lighting that you're able to do. You're also able to do patterns, right? Like there's different things you can make the lights do. Can you talk to us about that for a minute?
The lights, you can make them chase, race, the replace patterns where the light zooms across and starts coming back the other direction.
Oh, like
you
Kit.
Can have 5. Oh yeah, you can set up 5 lights, and every 5 lights are a different color, and they're moving across, flashing. You can have them do random patterns, and the cool thing is the motion patterns are one stage, and then we have effects that we can layer over them.
Oh my goodness.
So like my favorite pattern come Halloween, given that I'm an October baby myself, my birthday's the 28th.
Okay.
I love Halloween. So my favorite pattern is you have the orange and the purple, and you have it washing slowly around the house, about 20 lights of each, and you dim it down, and then you turn on the lightning feature, and random sections of the house will flash and shutter.
Oh man, that's
as
amazing.
it's running. It's so much fun.
That's
and
awesome.
then we have the The other effect that our older customers really like, because some of them don't like their Christmas lights to move. They want their red, green, and blue, and that's it.
Sure.
But we can add twinkle on top of anything, where individual lights will go brighter for a split second.
Okay.
So it looks like the lights are twinkling across the house.
Nice. Nice.
And you control not only the speed of the pattern you're running, you also control the speed of the effect.
Okay.
So if you want the house to flow nice and soft, and you slow that speed way down on the pattern, but then if you want that lightning to just jump all over the house, you can speed that up.
So are these settings that you're talking about, are these all things that you have to build yourself within the app, or do you guys have like some preset programs?
Those are already in there.
Okay.
We do have legacy programs. They're the ones we've had since the start.
Mm-hmm.
But even within the legacy programs, like there's a red, white, and blue pattern that I really like, where it's about 10 red, 10 white, 10 blue, and it jumps across your house. I really like the motion of that pattern. So you can actually go in and take that same pattern, change the colors within the pattern to something completely different, and then save that as a separate pattern.
Okay. Cool.
That's
Nice.
very cool.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things that you've said to me is like the ability to do some of these things, and then like the next night you change it up just to
That's
keep
right.
people guessing. Like, what is the Hackett house gonna do next?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like pretty cool.
So
Well, you can also set up with the calendar feature. We have a gentleman up in Salt Lake we have the lights on his business, and he presets all 25 days of Christmas.
Nice.
And his lights do something different every single day on his business.
that is
Perfect.
cool.
Yeah. That would definitely be me. I would definitely be doing that for sure.
Oh, my wife would be all over that.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Well, and I forget the question I was going to ask.
Okay, I got another one. And if you think of yours, you can hop in. But I know. I mean, we're talking LEDs. So LEDs typically last a really long time. But from time to time, I've got a weird deal at my house where I buy an LED and like a month later it goes out for no reason. So can you replace individual bulbs, or do you have to replace the whole system? What happens if an LED light goes out, whether it's a month or 10 years? What happens?
We can actually come out, take that individual light out, splice and seal in a new one, and your system's back up and running.
Okay.
But there's a big difference between our system and like the bulbs you buy for your house. What blows in an LED system isn't usually the LED. What goes is the transformer. So when you have a bulb you put in your house, there's a small transformer in that bulb dropping that 120 volts down to 12 volts DC. That's what blows.
Okay.
For us, our transformer is a full industrial fan-cooled brick in the controller in the garage. Our LED lights are the computer chip themselves. So for one of our lights to go bad, there had to have been a manufacturing mistake at the factory. Something wasn't put in right. And we see those within the first 3 months, typically.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, but the best part about that is that it's just one bulb that you can go replace, one light, and then you're good to go. That's what's awesome.
Yeah, because every light's individual. So
Right.
Every time that controller turns on, goes through its boost mode, it assigns an address to every light.
Sure.
If we have to cut one out of the system and splice in a new one, we're good to go. The second it turns back on. We actually had a house. This was like 4 years ago probably. They had a near strike up in Salt Lake, and they lost every piece of electronics in their house. Their fridge, microwave, their TVs, everything. Our controller died, and the very first light did. We replaced that controller, and we replaced that first light, and the entire system turned back on.
Wow. Nice.
Well, so
Easy fix.
one of the things, other things I read about y'all's lighting system is with regular use, the light should last about 15 years. Is that accurate?
We're still, honestly, that's our numbers as far as I've heard, but we're still beating the top of our lights, still testing them. We have some homeowners that only use them 4 hours a night. We have businesses that use them 24 hours a day.
Right.
We actually have set on our office that run our sign. I think it's been 4 years now. Those lights have been running 24 hours a day nonstop, and we haven't had a single issue yet. And our average homeowner, honestly, doesn't use them every day.
Right.
Sure.
If they do, they're using soffit light looks where they're using maybe a fifth to an eighth of the lights on their home. The rest are off. They're really only using all of the lights Friday nights, holidays, birthday parties, and Christmas. So the system's a tank. It was built to work.
Well, and so then, what is the warranty that you guys put on the systems that you install?
We give a realistic warranty. We put 3 years on the materials and 1 year on the labor.
Okay.
If we have to come back after the 1 year, it's a $150 service charge, and then we fix what's wrong. Our most common service call, to my knowledge, is people change their network devices, and we have to go back and log the system into the new network device, or they get new cell phones and forgot to load the information on the new cell phone and make it work.
Now, is that something they could do themselves if they're just not if they're technically savvy, or is that something you guys have to do?
No, it's for people like me that are technologically inept.
Okay.
I can build you an entire backbone of an electrical system for a skyscraper. Ask me to put software in my cell phone, you might as well just throw it in the water.
That's fair.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think you mentioned it just a minute ago. If you're going to have a problem with a light, you're going to see it within the first 3 months. So 1 year warranty on the labor makes sense, and 3 years on everything else. Like, it sounds like, man, you ought to be more than covered whenever you purchase your product.
And we want to be here. We want to be here if the light fails. And we've seen it with some of the other companies that do the franchising. Service calls with unrealistic warranties bury companies.
Yeah.
And we want to be here for the long haul.
Yeah.
There are some customers that we've had to go out after that year, but we work with them. We want our customers to be happy. We want things to work and work properly.
Well,
and if it's our issue, we fix it.
Yeah. So and you said, it's $150 service call, which I think that sounds reasonable. So let's say you guys come out. It's been 3 years. One of those diodes has gone out. What's it going to cost somebody to have you guys come out and replace that? Is that the 150, or is it going to be a little bit more than that?
It's the 150, and we do charge $13, I believe, right now per light that we replace.
Okay.
But if we come out and we pull it out and it was a manufacturing issue, we're not going to charge you for it. If we come out and the light blew because your roofer decided to use the soffit of your house as a place for him to hold on with the claw of his hammer, and he dug the claw of his hammer through the wire, that's why it tripped out. Well, we're going to charge you.
Sure. That's fair.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to charge the roofer.
Exactly. Yeah. There's going to be a little bit less that he gets in his paycheck.
That's right.
That's how that's going to work. No, that's good. I think you've answered a bunch of my questions. What have we not asked you that you would like to really make sure that people out there are aware of?
Just the usability of it. It is a year-round system. I always stop people when they think, oh, the Jellyfish Christmas. Like, no, it's the Jellyfish year-round accent lighting system.
Yeah.
No Christmas lights. I always jump on my bosses and the other sales guys and stuff. I was like, do not say Christmas lights. We are year-round.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will say that we had one of the listeners put up a post here on a comment here that said, permanent Christmas lights, putting them up and taking them down is the bane of his existence. And so he said this would absolutely be amazing. And I would agree, because what a lot of people don't realize is it's very dangerous.
Yes.
First of all, putting up Christmas lights is probably one of the most dangerous things you could possibly do, and especially these 2-story houses. I mean, you just can't do it, right? I mean, you're not trying to do that, so you got to hire it out, and you either have to find a place to store those every single year, or depending on the company that actually comes and puts them up and takes them down, some of them will use their own lights, and so you're paying a service charge to use their lights, and then you don't have to store them. Those sorts of things.
Oh, no. You buy the lights, and then they store them for you. They'll put them back up if you pay them to put them back up.
Right. Yeah, and
those services that do those systems with the customized lights, where they cut them to match your home, you buy them.
Okay.
And then they take them away, and if you want to pay them next year to put them back up, they'll bring them back to you.
And it's crazy expensive to have that done every year.
It's stupid. It's so much money.
I hate to say that it's stupid, because it's some people's business. Like, and they're making good money doing it. But like, if I had to pay $2,000 a year to someone can't come hang my Christmas lights versus whatever it costs to put Jellyfish up, where it's just going to be there year round and I can use it for all the other holidays, like, put the Jellyfish up every single time.
No kidding. Yeah. Yep.
And unfortunately, with the home shows and stuff that we do, we usually hear the horror stories.
Sure.
The brother that fell off the ladder and is paralyzed, or it's honestly, I used to gaff telephone poles back in the day, do ladder work on telephone poles all the time, and I look back at 20-year-old me and go, wow, I was a moron.
Yeah.
I did stuff that I should have been written up for. We called it the lean, where you put the ladder up, and as it's blowing into the telephone pole, you were already 5 rungs up.
Oh, man.
Just, you were saving time, and you went. Sure. And I look back at that now, and I don't know how I'm not paralyzed. No idea. And for a homeowner that gets a ladder out maybe 2-3 times a year and then goes up 30-35 feet to do some of these 2-story homes.
Yeah.
It's not worth the hospital bill of even just falling and breaking your leg.
Right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's too much of a risk.
Let me allow that opportunity to circle back to something. If you've been paying attention to the whole interview, hopefully you picked it up from just context. But this isn't a DIY product, right? I mean, this is something you guys have to install.
We've done DIYs, but the guys that do the DIYs are electricians, softwood and fascia guys, roofers. They're the guys that are doing this on their own home, that are up on top of other people's roofs every day. Those are the guys that do the DIY. When we get a call and the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm a computer programmer, we're not going to encourage you to do DIY.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with me with my truck. I do a lot of work on my own vehicle, but I look at certain projects, that's going to take me 7 hours on a Saturday and eat an entire day.
Yep.
I take and bring it to a professional, he's going to have it done in 2 hours.
Right.
So I'll do my brakes, but ball joints, that kind of stuff, I'm going to pay someone else to do it because they can do it faster and more efficiently than me.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, like, you've obviously installed enough of them now. I mean, like, it's going to look nice when you guys get done.
And yeah, and honestly, you don't see the light itself. You see the front lens and the track.
Mm-hmm.
The wire, everything, the high-tech part's all hidden. You see the track. And if the corners aren't mitered properly, if the peaks aren't put in right, and then you can see a gap, people just aren't going to be happy. So our guys come out, and I hate to use the word because it was one of my old electrical boss's favorite words, the job has to be pristine.
Yeah.
When you walk away, the job has to be pristine because it's someone else's home.
Sure. Well, and a video that I watched about an installation that you guys had done, and I forget the guy's name. He's some YouTuber, but he was saying it took 50 man hours to get the whole system on his place put in. I don't know if that's par for the course with you guys, but I mean, like for one, that was like a crew of guys out at his house. I mean, like for one guy to install this on his house sounds like it would just be a massive undertaking.
You can't install it one man.
Yeah.
The tracks are 10 feet long. You got to have a second pair of hands there with you, if not just for safety, for fall.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-man job to put this up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's just, we can do it cleaner. We can do it faster. We're up there all day, every day. My guys are good crews. 2 men can do 300 feet a day. And 300 feet for a homeowner, that's going to eat 2 weekends.
Yeah.
My guys are going to have it in 8 hours.
Yeah. And it's going to look better.
Oh, much better.
Yeah.
Well,
and you're not going to have the 30 different sheet metal cuts on your hands.
That's a big plus.
Yep.
You know, not needing to get the old tetanus shot.
No. I'm not interested. Yeah.
So here's the I know the question, you know, in the back of everyone's mind. What's this going to cost me? And I know that's going to be different for every home, but you know, in general.
So typically with our system, the only variation in price, you've got the controller, that's $600 installed, taxes, everything. Then the lights themselves, we do charge you per foot, and that per footage varies a little bit depending on height and difficulty.
Yep.
If you have a 1-story ranch with a hip roof, where all my guys are doing is 90-degree corners, and the tallest ladder they're pulling off the truck is a 6-foot step ladder, you are not paying the same price per foot as the guy I've got to go rent a lift to do the 50-foot peak on his house.
Sure. That makes sense.
But our typical job here in Dallas is about 130 feet on the front of someone's home. And that's a moderate-sized home with a 2-car garage. That's usually running you about $3,500 fully installed with tax. Our smaller jobs in the 100-foot, some of these smaller, like 2-bedroom retirement village type homes, they're down in the 2,000 range. But then we've done some houses down here that I didn't know existed. When you have your own bridge over your own lake to your house, that's a different price range. That footage is going to add up really fast.
Yeah,
no kidding. Well, I'll tell you right now that $3,500, if that's average, like there are definitely people out there who are putting Christmas lights up on their house that they're going to eat that up in 2 years.
Easy.
Right? Easy. And so, I mean, for someone like that, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. And it's going to look better. It's going to last longer. It's going to be something you can use year-round. And honestly, if you ever decide to sell your house, I mean, what a cool selling point.
Yeah.
You know? Pretty cool, for sure.
Those are actually my favorite service calls.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we just bought the house.
Hey, we've got this box in our garage. It has your name on it. What is this?
Yeah. I'm surprised that the seller wasn't, like, pushing that. And we got a jellyfish.
Yeah.
A jellyfish, just ask me.
That's right.
Just ask. Yeah.
So I just actually looked it up for you. Last month, we sold 74 homes just here in the Dallas office, and our medium install was $3,592.
Wow.
Hey, there you go.
Man, that's fast math on your part. I'm pretty impressed, dude.
Oh, no, there's a spreadsheet. Don't worry.
No, I'm just saying, like, you told us originally it's like around $3,500. You were only $90 off. I'm pretty impressed. That's my point.
Well, I do a couple of these things a day.
Yeah, that's good. Craig, what else you got?
Man, I'm just blown away by this system. I really want to get my hands on one and play with it and see what it can do. Mark, if you guys have installed it in the Houston area, I might need to, send me some referrals that I can go check out, because I want to see I want to see it in person. I actually want to get to, see how it functions, and which could be weird because that means I have to drive by people's houses at night.
That's okay.
Well, no, our customers are really cool. They usually like showing their systems off. So when we have somebody that asks for a demonstration, we pull up a few names in their area that have the lights. We call them up, say, hey, you mind if someone comes by and looks at the lights tonight? I actually had a guy up in Salt Lake. I'd stop using him. He wouldn't let people leave. He had like a 200 demonstration plan. He was so excited.
That's funny.
You gotta simmer down, man. They want to see about 20 minutes of lights.
He's got hors d'oeuvres out in the front yard. He's pouring coffee. He's like, yeah, pull up a chair. Let's watch the show.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those deals where what I just heard you say is if I buy one of these things for $3,500, I can be cool. I need to be cool.
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And down in Houston, you'd actually probably be the first guy in your neighborhood.
That's probably true. Yeah, I don't know anybody in my neighborhood that has anything like this, so for sure.
Well, so I'll tell you where my brain goes on this is, up where Kevin and I live, it's a big lake community. There's lots of people that have boat houses and different things like that. And I know that people like putting cool lights on their boat houses.
Yeah.
And something like this would just blow people's minds to be able to do different things and patterns and seasons and Yeah, it brings me to a really good question. Do you have a referral program? Because I know people.
We have done referrals in the past where we send out a gift card to the people that send us sales.
Nice.
That has been done. And as far as the lake house, I actually sold, where is it? I'm looking at it real quick. I'm a New England boy. I'm still learning all the towns down here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, I sold a job over near Rockwall, just east of Dallas on Lake Ray Hubbard.
Yeah, it's a big lake out there.
And we did their house and we did their boat dock. And you can see it from the road as you're going across I-70.
Oh, yeah.
It is gorgeous at night. And I have talked to the people that we sold it to. Their neighbors are jealous.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I bet.
I tell you what we need to do, Mark. We need to figure out how to integrate this with mosquito misting systems, because you and I could make a killing.
Well, yeah, because a lot of the people that are putting mosquito misting systems have a pool.
But like where these lights go, it's exactly where misting systems go. So
that's right. Right under the soffits, right?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah. Cool.
I've got sales partners.
I'm ready, bud. Let's do it.
I've got other electricians. I've got one gentleman up in Cache Valley, Utah, that he doesn't put exterior lights anymore. He sells them ours.
Nice. That's smart.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, dude, it's been really good learning, and I'm sure there's more that will continue to evolve. I mean, as y'all continue to learn and do more and more stuff, especially with the app. And I love the fact that you just give people the firmware updates and stuff like that. Like that just again, it shows that this is something that you don't just buy and a year from now, whenever the technology is a little bit better, I wish I would have waited a year. I mean, that's the way it is with a computer all the time. It's like, man, I can't ever really stay ahead of the curve because the curve is really, really sharp, And so I love the fact that that's something that just you get. It's a great, great feature for sure.
Well, it's putting our customer first.
Yeah, 100%.
The price, our system is not a need, it's a want.
Sure.
And for that technology curve that's always moving, to move past that so quick, that's a permanent. We had this discussion, Bryce, David, and I, a long time ago when we were actually putting on our first app, and they were discussing what they were going to do with it. My vote was always just give it to them.
Yeah.
Because one, it's putting our customer first. Two, it drives more word of mouth, friend referrals than you would believe.
Yeah, I actually do believe it. I mean, you look at companies like Amazon and things like that. Like, well, it's one of the things that people say about them all the time. Like, I needed to return something. They didn't even make me return it. They just said, keep it, I mean, things like that. That's like, gee whiz, like you make it so easy. And then you look at, like these car companies, right? They put in these navigation, apps on their cars, but then if you want to keep it up to date, you got to pay $40 every year, and then a lot of them you like have to wait and download. Like my brother-in-law was telling me that he downloaded a new map update, and it took like 2 hours, and it charged him like $40 or $50 to get it. And it's like, man, if you would have just given that to your customer, they wouldn't have minded the 2 hours. But now that it took 2 hours and you charged me, $40 to do this, now I'm pissed. It's just like, make it easy for the customers, and you'll have them for life. And I think that you're finding that to be true, for sure. So, all right, it's time to move on because we got some important stuff coming up.
Oh,
right?
The most important.
Yeah, the most important thing, and that is the Final Four.
The Final Four.
That's right. I hope you're ready because these are the Final Four questions that we ask each and every one of our guests. So are you ready for this, Mark?
Shoot.
All right, here we go. We're going to start off with the very first one. Here it is. What's the must-have tool that you won't leave your house without?
I'm an electrician. I don't leave the house without a pair of linesmen.
Okay.
I didn't hear that. What is that?
With wires.
Oh, okay.
The Klein with wires. They're in my vehicle, and if they're not in my vehicle, I've got a pair in my backpack.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true electrician.
Yeah, I was going to say, whenever it comes to electricians, they've always got the Klein tools. That's the ones that everybody uses. It just is, right? Yep.
Oh, it's just because we're prettier than you guys.
That's right. There ain't no doubt about that. I mean, look at this face. Look at it. What are you going to do with it? I don't know.
Cut that thing. That's what you
Well, I'll tell you this. Just since you said that, we're coming up on football season. It's about to go.
Oh.
Yeah. This whole thing's about to come off. All right. So just,
Smooth Kevin.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. All right. Next question. What is a job you walked away from?
I was actually doing an INET system in the Cambridge Library in Massachusetts, and there was this electrical apprentice that was just driving me nuts because he was whining and complaining all day. When his boss turned around and told him to shut up and said, "You're making X amount of dollars for a first-year apprentice. Stop your whining and keep sleeping." I went, "Wait a minute. He's making how much?" I'm the wrong profession. I think that was like a Wednesday. By the next Monday, I'd found Jeff Bauer Electric, and he was looking to hire an apprentice, and I was working for him.
There you go. If you want to compete, I'm out. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I love it. Yeah, you can have him for that. Right. All right, man. Next question. How do you wind down at the end of a long day?
Honestly, when you guys called at 9 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, I was still working.
Yeah.
So my end of days are a little bit different. I'm more wind down on the end of the week.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And end of the week, it's hanging out with my girlfriend, my son, talking to my daughter, or getting the new updates on my 1-year-old granddaughter, Paisley.
Cool. Congrats on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, last rule my daughters broke, not to make me a grandfather before I was 45.
Uh-oh.
Last rule that was still standing, they broke it.
Come on now.
You had one job.
That's good.
My daughter looked at me, she's like, "Dad, I'm 22. You had me when you were 19. Shut up."
Oh, wow. She really kind of gave it to you on that one, didn't she? What are you going to say to that?
Not much.
No, it is what it is. All right, man. Very, very cool. All right, last question, home stretch. What's one of the best pieces of wisdom or advice you've ever received?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I think my grandfather told me once to work to my ability. Don't chase after things because I think they'd be good. He said, find what you're good at and go down that route.
Okay.
And I'm a great electrician. I'm a great salesman. And I have had a lot of success doing those two things.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
No, it's great advice. And one of the reasons that I love about that is that, it's one of those deals where we find people all the time, and even people that come on this show, and friends of ours, people that we know out there, and they're doing something that gives them a paycheck, and they really just hate life. And so one of the things I love about what you just said is, do what you love, do it really, really well, and so chase after the things that you're really good at. Absolutely love it. Very, very cool.
I used to have a couple other electricians that would always give me crap because we did, Jeff and I, we loved doing the antique remodel stuff, and they're looking at us like, that is the hardest stinking work. We'd be up there crawling on rock wall insulation, these houses up in New England that were early 1700s.
Jeez, oh my gosh.
And it was hard work, but every day I got to go to work, and it was another giant problem-solving exercise.
Yeah.
It wasn't just wire the house. It's how do I get from here to there without ripping holes in the walls, without damaging the historical value of the home I'm in? How do I find a path? And we did some really interesting things.
Yeah.
We actually had a house we did where the guy that built it in the, if I remember, it was late 1700s. He built this house. He was a shipwright. He literally took a boat that he had built, flipped it upside down, and put it on his roof, and that was his roof.
Oh my goodness, insane!
And we're there trying to put recessed cans in, and we're like, we're kind of holding and doing test pile holding. And we're going, what in the world is going on here?
Hey, if you turn a boat upside down, use a candle, man. If that's what you're going for, just light a candle at night, carry it around on one of those things like Scrooge did.
That's a big moment because like this wood has survived 2 centuries,
That's
but
right.
It didn't survive you.
Exactly.
That's why I'm putting a hole in it.
Exactly. Wow, that's good. Well, Mark, we have just absolutely loved getting a chance to talk to you and to learn a little bit more about this product because whenever Craig heard about it, whenever he found out about it, he told me about it, and we were both kind of blown away. And so this is a really cool interview for us. So we really, really appreciate the time you've given us tonight.
No problem. It's great being here. Just for the people listening, our average is the 3rd week of October. We are full. We are ramping up crews right now to make sure we can push that number out a little bit further. But come fall, we fill up schedule fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So get to us now, August, September. I always love the guy. I give him a bid in October, in like March, and he calls me the week before Thanksgiving. He said, all right, I'm ready. Let's go. And I just like, sure, I can get you in March.
Right.
See you next year.
Right. Yeah, you'll get your lights whenever we get ready because we're busy. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Listen, thank you again, and we got one more question before we're done, and this is a question that's a wild card, so I hope you're ready for this, but I don't get to ask this question. This is Craig's question.
All right, you ready?
Sure.
If people want to find you, how do they get a hold of you?
Our website, jellyfishlighting.com, is the best place to get a hold of us because go there. You can put in your information, and they will direct you to the right office. It's either the Houston office, us up here in the Farmers Branch Dallas office, and then we even have we've got a sales partner since this is mainly Texas. We've got Roberts Electrical Contractors out in Midland. They also are an authorized dealer for West Texas.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we're all 50 states here. Right? I mean, how many offices do you guys have now?
Right now we have, I believe, 15. We got an office up in Minneapolis. We got an office in Louisville, Kentucky. We got some guys in Virginia Beach. We've got an authorized dealer in Columbia, South Carolina. We've got some guys in Pensacola. We've got an authorized dealership in Kansas City. Then we've got, I believe it's Bozeman, Utah. We got a couple in Idaho, one in Reno, Vegas, Phoenix. We've got our South Utah guys with down St. George, our office in Salt Lake. We've got our office in Denver. We've got a group in San Diego, and then, our 2 offices here in Texas and Houston and Dallas.
That's impressive that you remembered all of those.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I pulled the map up. I cheated. Multi-screens.
Yeah, there you go. That's good stuff. Well, listen, thank you, everybody.
The push is international.
Oh yeah, I mean, with this type of product, I believe with all my heart y'all are gonna hit it. I mean, this is a really, really innovative product, and it's gonna just hit the United States by storm, I'm pretty sure.
And that's why we stayed in Salt Lake as long as we did. We want all the bugs in the product, in the lights, the controller, our install package. We wanted to get all the bugs worked out. Once we felt confident we could move and start installing halfway across the country and trust that it was going to be done right, we started moving national.
That's awesome.
We took the time to build the product.
Yeah, because it tells me that y'all have got a system. I mean, you've got a contractor out in Midland. They're great people out in Midland, but I mean, like you can just find an electrician out there, train them, and it's obviously pretty simple as far as what they have to do, and that's it's a sign of a really great quality product. You've got a system that works, and that's why I'm saying, man, this is gonna hit the world by storm. It's gonna be great. So. Good stuff, man.
I just needed open an office up in New England so I can
move home.
Start moving my butt back home.
There you go. Get close to that grandchild. I know. I get it. Well, cool, dude. Well, it's like I said, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us, hanging out with us tonight. If you are listening to us on a regular podcast, whether it's Apple Podcast or Google, whatever, go ahead and like and subscribe to us. We would sure appreciate that. Leave us a rating and review on Apple would be fantastic. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit the little bell so that you can be notified each and every time we got a new video coming out. And it's been a really, really good day, and we appreciate you for hanging with us. We're here each every Tuesday. Until next time, we'll see you later.
See you.